देखिए जल
which is called In Focus. We look at areas which need attention and deliberation in helping India's dream of becoming Atmanirbhar or self-reliant. India's development and self-reliance is dependent on water security and water connectivity, and this was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's clarion call on World Water Day on 22nd March. But the challenge of the water crisis is increasing equally with India's development. The responsibility of the present generation of the country is to fulfill its responsibility for the generations to come. And the government has taken many steps in making water governance a priority in its policies and the decisions. And in the last 6 years, if you see, many steps have been taken in this direction. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, be it water campaign to every farm, Har Khet Ko Pani, Per Drop More Crop campaign, and Namami Gange mission, Jal Jeevan mission or Atal Bhujal Yojana. Work is being undertaken rapidly on all of these schemes. National Water Missions, which is NWM campaign, Catch the Rain, with the tagline Catch the Rain where it falls, when it falls, is to nudge the states and stakeholders to create appropriate rainwater harvesting structures suitable to the climatic conditions and subsoil strata before the monsoons. Both urban and rural areas have been included in the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, and the basic aim should be that no or only limited will water to flow out of the compound. This will help in improving soil moisture and raising ground water table. In urban areas, it will reduce water gushing onto the roads, damaging them, and will prevent urban flooding. So Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rainwater, will be our topic of In Focus today. In the next 1 hour, various guests will also join us today. But before we get started, let's listen into Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, who emphasizes on saving water and the importance of Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain. Listen in.
देखिए जल की महत्ता और आने वाले समय में जल संसाधनों की कमी के कारण से बढ़ने वाली चुनौतियां जो पूरे विश्व भर को चिंतित कर रही हैं, उनको दृष्टिगत करते रखते हुए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जल के विषय पर काम करने वाले सारे मंत्रालयों को, विभागों को एकीकृत करके एक एकीकृत जल शक्ति मंत्रालय का गठन किया। और उसके बाद निरंतर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी विभिन्न प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर जल के संरक्षण, जल के संचय, विवेकपूर्ण उपयोग और उपयोग किए हुए जल के पुनर्उपयोग के लिए बार बार बातचीत करते हैं। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का हमेशा ही ये मानना रहा है, जिसे उन्होंने कई बार अनेक मौकों पर, अनेक अवसरों पर कहा भी है, कि कितना भी बड़ा विषय जब समाज ओन कर लेता है तो उसकी सफलता निश्चित हो जाती है। और इसी क्रम में 2019 में जल शक्ति अभियान प्रारंभ किया गया था, जिसमें हमने देश के 256 ऐसे जिले जहां पानी की कमी है या कंपैरेटिवली उस प्रदेश में कम पानी है, भूगर्भ के जल का स्तर नीचे गिर रहा है, ऐसे जिलों को आइडेंटिफाई करके उनके ब्लॉक्स में ऐसा जल शक्ति अभियान की गतिविधियां प्रारंभ की थी, जहां जल के संरक्षण को लेकर के, वर्षा जल के संचय को लेकर के, हर एक बूंद पानी जो गिरे, बरसात से आए, उसका ठीक संचय हो और उसका संरक्षण हम कर सकें, इस दृष्टिकोण से एक चेतना व्याप्त करने के लिए कार्यक्रम हुए थे। उसकी सफलता और उसके बाद जिस तरह का वायुमंडल बना और देश भर से जिस तरह से डिमांड आ रही थी, उसको देखते हुए कालांतर में यह तय किया गया कि हम पूरे देश भर में इस तरह के 700 जिलों में जो है इस तरह के कार्यक्रम को संचालित करें। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इसकी शुरुआत की है। जल शक्ति अभियान का दूसरा चरण, जिसे टैगलाइन दी गई है, कैच द रेन वेयर इट फॉल्स एंड व्हेन इट फॉल्स।
ये राज्यों के साथ किस प्रकार से समन्वय बनाने की कोशिश की जा रही है, क्योंकि वहां पर भी उस लेवल पर भी काम करना जरूरी है?
देखिए, हमने राज्य सरकारों को, माननीय मुख्यमंत्रियों के साथ में बैठक की, इनके नोडल ऑफिसर्स के साथ में बैठक की, स्टेट में हमने इसको लीड करने के लिए डिपार्टमेंट्स तदनुसार जो है उनके सेक्रेटरीज को डेजिग्नेट कराया, कलेक्टर्स को जिले में नोडल ऑफिसर बनाया। उसके साथ में कलेक्टर्स को जो है हमने आग्रह किया है कि हर जिले में एक जल शक्ति केंद्र बने, जहां इससे रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन इकट्ठी हो, जहाँ इससे रिलेटेड क्वेरीज को सेटिस्फाई किया जा सके, उन सब को जो इंटीग्रेट करके, इसके साथ हमने एक नोबल आइडिया को और जोड़ा है। वो ये है कि हम अपनी वाटर बॉडीज को मार्क करें, उनको आइडेंटिफाई करें, उनकी जियो टैगिंग करें और देश भर की सारी वाटर बॉडीज को आइडेंटिफाई करके, उनका सैटेलाइट इमेजिंग करके, उनके प्रोसेसिंग करके, उसके कैचमेंट एरिया को, उसमें आ रहे अतिक्रमण को आइडेंटिफाई करें ताकि हम उनको लंबे समय तक संरक्षित कर सकें।
सर, ये मॉनिटरिंग को लेकर के किस प्रकार से काम हो रहा है सर इसमें, क्योंकि मॉनिटरिंग बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि स्टेट लेवल पे काम किस तरह चल रहा है, राज्यों में किस प्रकार से काम चल रहा
लगता है कि इसमें मॉनिटरिंग का विषय नहीं है, इसमें आपसी सहयोग का और समन्वय का विषय है और सहयोग और समन्वय के लिए हम दोनों हाथ आगे बढ़ा करके राज्यों के साथ में काम करने के लिए हमने अपने आप को प्रस्तुत किया, ऑफर किया।
सर, फंड को लेकर भी कुछ है कि जो मनरेगा को लेकर के काफी सारा काम हो रहा है यहाँ पर?
देखिए, अभी ये जो वर्तमान का 4-5 साल की विंडो है, ये सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है और ये इम्पोर्टेंट इसलिए है कि नरेगा में तो निश्चित रूप से इसके ऊपर खर्च होता ही है। अभी वर्तमान वर्ष में भी लगभग 25,000 करोड़ रुपए के काम इस विषय को लेकर के हो रहे हैं, लेकिन 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन ने पानी के विषय और सैनिटेशन के विषय, इन दोनों को लेकर के और अपनी ग्रांट का 30% हिस्सा पानी के लिए, 30% सैनिटेशन के लिए आरक्षित किया है, जो लगभग अगर मैं 5 साल की गिनती करूं तो 1.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा होता है। वो 1.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए की धनराशि का ठीक से उपयोग हो और इस माध्यम से उपयोग हो, इस दृष्टिकोण से हम जो है इस विषय पर काम कर रहे हैं।
मैं ये पूछना चाह रहा था कि आपने कुछ दिन पहले अभी उत्तर प्रदेश और उत्तराखंड के भी डीएम से भी बातचीत की है, तो जमीनी स्तर पर आपको क्या उनका अनुभव देखने को मिल रहा है कि किस प्रकार से काम चल रहा है?
निश्चित रूप से, क्योंकि कलेक्टर इसका नोडल अधिकारी होता है, जिलाधिकारी ही के जो है शोल्डर्स पे, उनके वे पेड़ पे सारी एक्टिविटीज कोऑर्डिनेट होती हैं। देश भर के सारे जिला कलेक्टर से हम बात करें, उनको मोटिवेट करें, कॉन्सेप्ट में कहीं कंफ्यूजन नहीं रहे, कॉन्सेप्चुअल लेवल पे कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं रहे, इसके लिए भी हम बातचीत करें, हम इसके लिए काम कर रहे हैं।
अंतिम प्रश्न सर, इंपॉर्टेंस को लेकर के बात कर रहे हैं, बिहेवियरल चेंजेस को लेकर बात कर रहे हैं, आम जन से आपका क्या कहना है?
देखिए, जल ही जीवन है, जल जीवन का आधार है। जल को हमारे पूर्वजों ने जगदीश का रूप माना है, उसकी शुचिता, पवित्रता, उपलब्धता, निरंतरता बनी रहे, ये हर एक व्यक्ति का कर्तव्य है। ये केवल सरकार का कार्यक्रम न रहे, हम जल के लिए अपने उत्तरदायित्व को समझें और उसे बचाने के लिए, उसके संरक्षण के लिए काम करें। एक एक बूंद पानी को हम अमूल्य है ऐसा मानते हुए उसका यदि उपभोग करेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से हम जल जैसे महत्वपूर्ण विषय के साथ में न्याय कर पाएंगे।
Right, so this was Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, and guests have also joined in. We'll start our discussion. Ms. Ranjita MH, Director, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Government of India is with us. Malay Srivastav, Additional Chief Secretary, PHED, Government of Madhya Pradesh, he's also with us. And Apurva Oza, Chief Executive, Aga Khan Rural Support Program, AKRSP, is also with us. Welcome all of you. But before we start our discussion, let's see with the story of Uttar Pradesh's Kanpur Dehat district. Shobhan Ashram Lake has set an example for others on how water can be conserved on flatland. The people of the district once used to face acute shortage of water, but now it's a thing of a past. Here's a report.
Shobhan Ashram's lake in Kanpur Dehat district of Uttar Pradesh is an ideal for people in water conservation. There was a time when the level of water in the lake receded tremendously and the water body was on the verge of drying up. However, with the hard work of the government and authorities here, the lake spread over 25 acres is now full of water.
आसपास जो है पानी की कमी थी, किसानों को बड़े बेचारे गरीब टाइप थे, यहाँ कोई सुविधा थी नहीं, तो पानी की सिंचाई की व्यवस्था जो है भगवान ने ये की कि नदी में ये लेफ्ट कैनाल बनाई और इससे जो है करीब 400-450 बीघे की आगे झील है, उसमें पानी जाता है, तो उससे होके और आगे नहर से 2,500-3 हज़ार बीघे तक जो है किसानों की सिंचाई इससे फ्री होती है, कोई उनसे शुल्क नहीं लिया जाता।
The land around Shobhan Ashram was flat. There was a crisis of irrigation due to the low groundwater level in nearby villages, including in Sambalpur, Lalupurwa, Anupur and Bereswai. Drinking water was only available from hand pumps installed after deep boring into the ground. Nearly 3 years ago, Swami Viraktanand ji Maharaj, famous by the name of Shobhan Sarkar, took a step in this direction. With collective effort, the flat land on the canal built on the Pandu river was connected. After this, rainwater was collected in it. Gradually, it took the form of a canal. Today, there is so much water that people no longer face any shortage. Speaking with Doordarshan, head of the village, Ramji Mishra said locals never thought water could be filled and stored in flat ground. Earlier, there was the problem of boring, but due to this lake, now water is available at 50 to 60 feet.
ये झील लगभग 500-600 बीघा में घटता है। खुदाई गई है सरकार के द्वारा। यहाँ एक नदी है, पानी नदी जिसे कहते हैं, तो वहाँ लिफ्ट कैनाल लगवाई गई है। लिफ्ट कैनाल से पानी नाले के द्वारा आकर झील में एकत्र किया जाता है, जिससे अगल बगल के जितने 10, 15, 20 गाँव हैं उनको इस पानी से सिंचाई की जाती है। किसानों को बहुत बड़ी राहत मिलती है। तो यहाँ से इसलिए आम जनमानस अमन चैन की जिंदगी काट रहा है। झील का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है हमारे क्षेत्र के, हमारे आसपास के गाँव की प्रगति में।
With the formation of this lake, people living in and around Shobhan Ashram are elated. Water is now easily available to irrigate the fields through pumping sets.
करीब 30-40 गांवों को यहाँ इस पानी से लाभ मिला है। जब से शोभन सरकार ने इस झील को बनवाया है, तब से हमारी आय दोगुनी हो गई है और हमारे पास भी करीब 15-20 बीघे जमीन है, जो कि इस पानी से सिंचित होती है और इस पानी से आय भी बढ़ी और लोगों का मतलब जो है मनोबल बहुत ही ऊंचा हुआ।
After the water problem was resolved here, people in Kanpur Dehat say they have learned from Shobhan Sarkar that water has to be saved because it is a necessity. If rainwater is saved properly, groundwater levels remain better and people will no longer have to face water shortage. With Devesh Singh in Kanpur, DD India.
Right, now let's listen in to people's experiences from Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign.
पैरी में जाते थे पानी भरने के लिए, और अब टंकी से साफ सुथरा पानी आने लगा है, तो हम लोग टंकी से भर रहे हैं। और बच्चे 1-1 घंटा न भूखे रहते थे, तो अब टाइम से हम लोग खाना बना लेते हैं, अपना घर का काम कर लेते हैं, और बच्चों को भी साफ सुथरा पानी मिलता है। और हम लोग बीमार भी नहीं पड़ते थे। पहले बच्चे बीमार पड़ते थे, गंदा पानी पीते थे, हम लोग भी बीमार पड़ते थे। अब साफ सुथरा पानी पी रहे हैं हम लोग, तो हम भी स्वस्थ हैं, हमारे बच्चे भी स्वस्थ हैं, घर परिवार भी सब स्वस्थ हैं।
सर 2 दिन से नाला लगी हमारे पानी की परेशान है थे, बच्चा लोग की परेशान है थे, और सब लोग की परेशान थे, पानी से सब परेशान थे। अब सुविधा भी हो गई पानी की, खाना पीना, नहाना, पढ़ना, लिखना सब समय से होने लगा।
Right, so these were the experiences people shared on DD India, and again today's topic of In Focus is Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain. Elite panel of guests is with us. Ms. Ranjita, if I can come to you first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched this campaign in March. Although the work has been done from the last year, I think before that also, but he said that the campaign will be from March 22nd to November 30th before the monsoon, and then when the monsoon ends. How successful we have been so far in conserving the water?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Before getting into the progress of the campaign, I would like to contextualize the campaign in the context of Jal Jeevan Mission, which is a very important program being implemented by Government of India, again, which was launched by Honorable Prime Minister on August 15, 2019, which aims at providing pipe water connection, drinking water through tap water connection to all households of our villages by 2024. There were around 19 crore households when the program was launched, and only 3.23 crore households have tap water connection. So you can imagine the quantum of work left. And the fundamental aspect here, or the key focus here, is the functionality of the tap water connection, that is long-term and regular supply of water, and it is aiming at local drinking water security. to ensure local drinking water security at villages, the fundamental prerequisite is availability of water.
Yeah.
And here comes the importance of water conservation campaigns like Jal Shakti Abhiyan. I would like to give a brief history of this program as well. It was first launched in July 2019. It was a mission mode program implemented in a campaign mode, which was an effort to bring together all stakeholders pertaining to water conservation for the cause of water. And it was a 3-month-long campaign, which was then implemented in water-stressed districts across the country. Around 262 districts were there, and 1,500 blocks were identified for the implementation. And the results were really encouraging. All strata of people, starting from students to youth to women to or government officials, civil society organizations, all came together for the cause of water. This experience gave a lot of confidence to the ministry that the second part of the campaign was also as planned, and it was launched, as you mentioned, by Honorable Prime Minister on World Water Day, March 22nd. And this, the logo or the title given for the campaign is Catch the Rain Where It Falls and When It Falls. And in a monsoon-driven country like India, the efforts towards conservation should happen well in advance before the monsoon. So in March, this campaign was launched, and the response is really good. This time, in the second part of the campaign, all districts are chosen, unlike the first part where only we looked at the water-stressed districts of the country. Here we are making efforts by closely coordinated work with all stakeholders, again, by simply nudging them, giving a gentle push where all officials or civil society organizations, again, general public, all are coming together for conserving water so that every drop can be saved. And this is key to have a long-term water security in our country.
Absolutely, the response, like you are saying, is very, very good, and people, I mean, we have been very, very successful so far. But I want to come to Mr. Malay Srivastav, who is Additional Secretary, Additional Chief Secretary, I should say, PHED, Government of Madhya Pradesh. Sir, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in March, we remember he spoke to Sarpanches, also DMs through at the ground level through video conference. So preparation at the ground level is very, very important. I'm talking about the infrastructures. How has been your experience so far in setting up the infrastructure for conserving the rainwater?
Good morning, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to give the state's perspective.
Yeah.
And I would like to begin from where Ranjita has left. And as she has already told, that the first thing which has been done by the government, that all the ministries and the departments which are related to water, that is whether using the water or conserving the water, that has been actually converged and united at the Government of India level. And if we see at the state level, as far as the conservation is concerned, this responsibility is being shouldered at the every village panchayat level and every municipality level. When Honorable Prime Minister has spoken to the state level functionaries, our Honorable Chief Minister was also there. From there onwards, a very detailed and an extensive IEC program has been run in the entire state of Madhya Pradesh, in which all the Gram Panchayats have been involved. And another good thing which has happened, that as Honorable Prime Minister has actually started the Jal Jeevan Mission. He has announced it on 15th August 2019. That is almost 2 years from now. Now, when this program has been started, everybody has realized that if one wants to have a drinking water scheme or a program, one thing which is most important is that either you base your scheme on an underground water or it could be a surface water. If it has to be based on a underground water, it has to be sustainable water. So over a period of time, particularly the places which were water scarce, about which Honorable Minister also spoke, Ranjita also spoke, they had already realized the importance of water conservation. So now, after this program has been launched by Honorable Prime Minister, in every Gram Panchayat, they have conducted the Gram Sabhas, the meetings of the village level functionaries, and they have identified various works which could be taken for conservation of water. It could be recharging of the well, it could be recharging of the tube well, it could be construction of small little stop dams, check dams, it could be deepening of the existing water body, it could be construction of the new water body. And another thing which is important and which I will like to emphasize also. In fact, in these types of works, on one side, there is no shortage of funding as far as the water recharging structures are there. Government has given abundant money. Particularly, Government of India has released so much money under Manrega, under 15th Finance Commission, and also under Swachh Bharat Mission, that all this money can be used for various water conservation activities. The last point which I will like to make, that using these water resources, the water supply scheme which has been formulated in the entire state of Madhya Pradesh under Jal Jeevan Mission, those are also going in full swing, and the funding for the first time for water supply scheme is so much that I am sure we will be able to fulfill the target which Honorable Prime Minister has set for all of us, that by 2024, every rural household would be provided with the household tap connection.
Right, very positive note, sir, you have finished with by 2024. It's a big thing that you have said. But again, I want to come to Mr. Apurva Oza, who's Chief Executive representing Aga Khan Rural Support Program, AKRSP India. So I want to know from you, infrastructure that we are talking about at the ground level, awareness is also very, very important. Like Jal Shakti Minister also emphasized on the behavioral changes of the people. I want to know from you what all steps are being taken at the ground level before the monsoon to implement the Catch the Rain campaign, and maybe if you can also focus on the technologies that have been used, infrastructure primarily.
So, you know, India has had a long history of doing a lot of infrastructure work. But one of the reasons for Jal Shakti Abhiyan and the Jal Jeevan Mission is that it puts the community at the center. And unless you put the community at the center, infrastructure done by outsiders, the contractor comes, builds something, goes away, that infrastructure actually doesn't last. Because unlike roads and other infrastructure we deal with, this is an infrastructure which is continuously in use and it needs continuous maintenance. And there are costs also to maintaining or managing that infrastructure. Whether it's a drinking water tap connection or whether it's a pipeline or water harvesting structures which are done. If they get silted, you need to desilt them. So you need a lot of sort of planning by the community and maintenance. Only then will the infrastructure give its real worth and its real value. And there, I think in both these programs, because these programs are talking about community centrality. So let us say, first of all, it is not very centralized, it's very decentralized. So it goes right to the district to the block and the panchayat level. And the individual sarpanches, individual leaders, we heard some of them, lot of non-profit organizations all over the country, religious trusts, all of them have been sort of involved into this process that let the community be the center of the planning, let not the plan of the structure come from outside, but let the community be involved in the planning, what structure, what size structure, where should it be located, that is what the community will be involved in the planning. And then let them also contribute. If they, poor communities cannot give cash, etc. That is not required. But they can give labor, they can give, kind contribution. So let them contribute in this abhiyan. And let them, then there will be always a few people who are more motivated. And let us use these people to spread the message, to be the water champions in different villages. And these are, and also a lot of emphasis has been taken and will need to be taken on women as water champions. Recently, I think Water Mission did a whole webinar only on the role of women in water conservation and water management. And I think that is so central. And that is something which this mission, both these missions are paying due attention. And I think therefore it is very critical that we do not measure or we do not count success by the money spent or by the infrastructure developed.
Okay.
We will have to count money success by the involvement of the community, whether it is owned by the community, whether it is maintained by the community, whether it is managed by the community. If water is to be distributed, then are water charges collected, especially for irrigation structures? Is it then not overused, but it is used appropriately and equitably so that even the poor and those people who are far off within a village, they also have access to the water? I think these are very important aspects of Jal Shakti Abhiyan and Jal Jeevan Mission, and they will need to continuously be at the center of these great initiatives, because only then will it be sustained. We do not want to then go into 2025 or 26 with another program to try and maintain what we did in 2022 or 23. We need to do these structures in a way that now, once those structures, when the villages have been planned, when the drinking water schemes have been done, then the communities will manage and maintain them in a sustainable way. I'll just make one last point which is very important, is that Jal Jeevan Mission is about water distribution. It is a functional household tap connection with good quality water available to communities as and when they need it in the quantities. Right? But water is a scarce source and it is a common source. Okay, and we are, the bulk of the water we use is groundwater in this country, both for irrigation and drinking water. You may know that we pump out about 250 billion cubic meters of water every year as a country, which is the highest in the world. So recharge in the groundwater is going to be very critical. And therefore these two programs are in a way dovetailed, that while one is using the water and distributing it equally and fairly to all the citizens in rural areas and urban areas, the other is making sure that the water is recharged and therefore there is enough water harvesting done. Because see, the supply of water is not going to increase. Right?
Yeah.
The rainfall is the same. What you need to, therefore, between supply and demand, there is this middle space called storage. And how to increase that. And there is also another space called reuse and recycling, which we can talk later. But these two spaces are critical, conceptually very critical, to make sure that we have sustainable water availability and sustainable quality of water. Because we should note that geogenic contamination, that is underground contamination of water, is increasing in this country. And that can only be solved by doing a lot of what we call water harvesting or surface water harvesting or clean water harvesting in the groundwater, so that we don't go so deep and we do not contaminate our groundwater. And therefore, combining these two missions is very, very critical. And that's why we also have the Atal Bhujal Yojana, which then looks at groundwater as a separate piece and studies and looks at groundwater scarcity. Because 60% of the districts in the country are either excessive use of groundwater, overexploitation, or they have groundwater-based water quality problems. So therefore, these two missions are very critical in providing safe water.
And Ms. Ranjita, if I can go forward with Mr. Oza's point, we should not be judging success with the infrastructure or the funds, although these 2 points are very, very important to implement anything. But sustainability he talked about. You want to add anything to this? How will this be sustained? Because this is a very, very important factor going at the ground zero level, and we should judge it from the how community has been contributing and implementing it. You want to add your point to this?
I would like to again draw a parallel with Jal Jeevan Mission. If you look at Jal Jeevan Mission, which is essentially a drinking water program, but we have 4 different components of it. One, source augmentation or source development, and here comes the relevance of Jal Shakti Abhiyan, which is addressing the supply part, which Mr. Oza just talked about. And the second part is the supply, drinking water supply part, and third is grey water. Let me explain what is grey water. When we have water at home, we are supposed to have water from bathrooms as well as our kitchen also. This grey water, there is a well developed component under Jal Jeevan Mission which looks at the reuse of this grey water, which Mr. Oza just talked about, reuse and recycling. So an end-to-end approach, as you mentioned, is very much required, while keeping the community at the center. Exactly, I would like to again support the point Mr. Oza raised. Unless and until the community is brought at the center, they decide the structure, they take ownership, it's not going to be sustainable. So that is a fundamental key, which I believe is working out in Jal Jeevan Mission as well as Jal Shakti Abhiyan. It is again community or the people who are going to benefit out of it. They are at the center in both these programs, and that will make a difference.
Mr. Malay Srivastava, ma'am talked about the recycling and reuse of the water. I was doing a story we had played a story on Startup India, our campaign in DD News and DD India. I did a story on smart toilets where they used to recycle the water. Do you think that the government needs to encourage, they have been encouraging, but you think the government needs to encourage these startups more and more? Because recycle and reuse grey water, like ma'am talked about, is very, very important.
Yeah, surely. But before I come to that point, if you allow me, I would like to comment on 2 of the points which Mr. Oza raised. It was as to how to judge, how to evaluate the success of this program. So I'd like to go in the slide, the backdrop of it. It's just a matter of chance or maybe coincidence that when we started this, perhaps the largest program in the history of the country called Jal Jeevan Mission, and just 3 months thereafter, we had the incidence of Corona, right, in March.
Right.
We already had 2 phases of Corona. So I would like to emphasize one point, that which segment of the society is going to be largely benefited because of such program. You would agree that it would be women and the girls, because whenever I'm sure you must have done many programs in the rural areas. Whenever you go to rural areas, who goes to fetch the water? It is predominantly the lady of the house or the girl. If the lady doesn't, if she goes to fetch the water, what does she miss? She misses, she's not able to go for a work, so she misses her livelihood. What happens if the girl goes? She misses her school. So one of the points perhaps, which is, and another thing, I am linking it with Corona. You see, what was the major precaution for avoiding Corona? One was don't crowd. So once they go to the well, they go to the hand pump, they go to a source of water, they crowd there. It is against the Corona protocol. So in case we are able to provide the tap water in the household, neither the lady of the house nor the girls, they would be required to go and fetch the water. And it will not only help us to save all of us in the society from Corona, Another thing to which I am drawing your attention is that I think it would be an interesting evaluation to check that the areas and the villages which have been 100% saturated by the tap connection, how has the attendance of the girl student increased in the school, right? How has the number of livelihood days gone up for the women? And the last point, before I come to the point which you queried from me, that most of the diseases in the rural area are the waterborne diseases. And you would agree that the biggest burden on a society, whether urban or rural, is if somebody gets sick. So once we are able to provide the clean drinking water, I am sure it is going to have a lot of reduction in the waterborne disease. And the impoverishment which takes place because of the health expenditure, that will also be reduced. Now coming back to the point which you said about the startups, yes, in fact, this particularly I'll again like to come back to the Jal Jeevan Mission. The technologies which we are using, many of these technologies are coming from startup, because as one of the earlier speaker spoke, that now it's important to create an infrastructure, but it is equally important to have an assessment and monitoring that infrastructure has been well structured. At the same time, it is sustainable. So we are using technologies like IoT. Okay. IoT is basically, you must basically to have a monitoring whether the right quantity of water, right quality of water is reaching the household. Because ultimately, once the infrastructure has been created, then government is not going to basically support it financially for maintaining it. So for maintaining, what do you need? One has to inculcate the habit of payment of the user charge.
Right.
Now, when will a user pay? You know, there is a willingness to pay when and it is linked to the satisfaction level. If I am able to supply water on a regular basis, good quality water in the required quantity which has been planned in the scheme, then naturally people will be willing to pay, and this amount which they will be paying, that will go to the village water and sanitation committee. In fact, another important point which I like to highlight here, that under the guidelines of Jal Jeevan Mission, 50% members of the village water and sanitation committee, which do the planning of the scheme, and after completion of the scheme, which does the maintenance, they are women. So basically, I like to conclude that Jal Jeevan Mission in recent past will be one of the strongest program which will contribute towards the empowerment of the women. And as I was saying, I'll just be making the last point, that in Madhya Pradesh also we are having many skill centers, training centers, and where we are encouraging hand-holding youngsters who are developing who are getting into various types of startups. They are developing various innovative methods, and those methods and technologies are also being used in both the Jal Jeevan Mission as well as the Catch the Rain program, in which what we are sort of recharging the water structures.
Right, challenges also, sir, you talked about. We'll talk about that, challenges for urban areas, different challenges for the rural areas also, but we have a ground report from Banda. We'll see this story first. There's no shortage of water in a village in Banda district of Bundelkhand. Yes, this village has emerged as an inspiration for the rest of the part of the country in water conservation. Take a look at this report.
Jakhni village, situated 22 kilometers away from the city in Banda district, is also known as Jalgram. All wells and ponds in the village are filled with ample of water. Around 8 years ago, a social activist, Uma Shankar Pandey, united villagers and initiated an organization to conserve water. The organization worked to utilize wastewater coming from households, hand pumps and drains in irrigating agricultural fields of vegetables. This step not only prevented wastage of water but also helped farmers to get better incomes.
जल संरक्षण का प्रयास ही सामूहिक प्रयास है। बगैर किसी सरकार के अनुदान के लोगों ने अपने खेत में मेड़ बनाई, मेड़ पर पेड़ लगाया। वर्षा की जो एक खास बात यह है, पानी के संरक्षण के लिए जो हमारी पुरखों की पद्धति है कि वर्षा बूंदे जहां पर गिरे वहीं पर रोका जाए। तो ये जहां पानी गिरे आप उसी पर रोक लीजिए, और जहां हम पानी बनाया नहीं जा सकता, केवल बचाया जा सकता है।
Actually, drain water in the village has been turned towards ponds from where this water is used for irrigating fields. Not only this, fields were divided into several parts with soil that helps rainwater to collect in fields. Rainwater collection in fields helps maintain balance in level of water under the ground. Rainwater that falls in fields is also collected in ponds for a year to be utilized not only for cattle but also for villagers.
ये पानी जो है, ये मान के चलिए कि इसका मतलब दुरुपयोग नहीं किया जाता, पानी को संचय किया जाता है। यहाँ मेन बिंदु मेड़बंदी है। मेड़बंदी में लोगों को हमने प्रेरित किया कि आप अपने खेतों की मेड़बंदी कराइए और पानी रोकिए, क्योंकि आगे आने वाले समय में पानी की ही लड़ाई है।
पहले सर समस्या थी, जब मेड़बंदी नहीं हुआ करती थी उस समय पुराने ज़माने में, इसका जो पानी रहता था खेतों का सब वेस्ट बाहर भग जाया करता था। जब से हम लोगों ने मेड़बंदी चालू की और पानी मतलब रुकने लगा, तो उसका अच्छे प्रभाव हमारे सामने आए।
Villagers of Jakni are getting better incomes from farming and fisheries after adopting water conservation measures. Jakni village of Banda has become an epitome of water conservation for other parts of the country. Bureau Report, DD India.
Right, we have one more story from Gujarat. Water is the base of human life. However, conserving water for future is a major challenge today. Rashtriya Raksha University in Gujarat has come up with a unique way to utilize rainwater for everyone. Let's watch a special report on this.
Rashtriya Raksha University of Gujarat, dedicated to impart defense education among young soldiers, has now come up with a unique way of conserving water. The university has designed its building
Right, we'll play this story again. There was some technical glitch, but again, Ms. Ranjita, we were talking about the challenges before we saw these stories. I want to know from you, challenges for the urban areas. I mean, rural areas, you have ample space, you can build the infrastructure properly also, but what about the urban areas? You want to mention the challenges that the urban areas are facing, or maybe they faced earlier?
When it comes to water conservation, of course, as you mentioned, there are definite challenges because of the huge build-up area, and we have almost chopped all the natural drains because of the conurbation happening in urban area. When it comes to water conservation, all the natural drains are being chopped up, and built-up area is not allowing the seepage of the groundwater. But at the same time, it is also offering a huge potential also in the urban area, because the possibility of the rainwater harvesting system that can be done on the buildings of the built-up area. So I believe, of course, there are challenges, but the opportunities are much more than the challenges when it comes to urban area.
Right, Mr. Ojha, you want to add your point to this? Also, if you can add in your answer, PM, Prime Minister Narendra Modi coming and campaigning, it does make a difference. Behavioral change is very, very important.
Yeah, so a few things on the urban areas. I think yes, it is a challenge because space is less. But frankly, if you look at it, except for a few cities like Chennai, etc., which have made a huge focus on urban water harvesting, it's not a part of neither a part of urban architecture nor a part of urban policy. So let's say I stay in Ahmedabad, I would say hardly 5% of the buildings, or even less, the societies, flats would be doing urban water harvesting and recharging their own boards to the water which every time it comes in the rainfall, it settles on the roofs and goes into drainage. If that could be diverted to recharge the bores or to underground storage tanks, I think urban areas would end up using a lot, saving a lot of water. And let's understand that the per capita water consumption for drinking for urban areas is almost twice or thrice that of rural areas. So there is a scope for using water much more, harvesting it. The other part, which is very interesting, and there's a lot of research currently happening on it, is this whole issue of urban wastewater. So if you look at cities, Bombay, Delhi, Ahmedabad, all these cities, the amount of wastewater which is generated from these cities is huge. Now, if it is properly treated, a lot of it, and some of the wastewater contains very high levels of nitrogen also. So if it is, and nutrients, if it is segregated waste, and the biological waste is segregated, then this wastewater can be used for agriculture in many areas. So I think Rajkot city, for example, has an agreement with villages around that to provide water for irrigation. So there is one calculation which says that if we tap all this wastewater of urban areas, that the amount of water you would use for irrigation would be equivalent to more than about 200 to 300 large dams. So the cost it would save by just systematic recycling is major. So there is this urban-rural linkage which we sort of separate, but now with increasing urbanization and peri-urban areas, that linkage can be used positively to make sure that there is a sort of alignment of both purposes. Now coming to this behavioral change, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think if all the Prime Minister and other leaders of this country, they lend their voice and their campaign to, as a part of a campaign, to look at behavioral change in a range of small things. So one is a generic message, please save water, etc. But if we can granulate or specify these messages, for example, countries like Italy, they have switched over from the kind of taps which we have, which have a lot of leakage, to entire regions have only push button taps. So there is no leakage because you have to push the tap if you want to make it work. So therefore you can't leave it open. Automatically it closes. So one small technical change, but it has saved millions of liters of water. So if these kind of small campaigns are run and they are led by leaders like the Prime Minister and many other leaders which we have in this country, they are already doing a lot, and I'm very happy about that. They are part, Shekhawat has been at the forefront of all discussions on water, but even more can be done. Then it can induce behavioral change, and we can design campaigns separately for women, separately for farmers, separately for young students, separately for the talati and all the office bearers. All of them we can do that, and that we can really cause a revolution. Suppose all the schools in this country have water harvesting system. All the schools. Just imagine and the Anganwadis. Just imagine the quantity of water which will be saved and how self-sufficient they will be in their own water requirement. So I totally agree with you. Huge potential to do far more, and huge potential to use the Prime Minister and other leaders for massive campaigns to educate and change the behavior.
Yeah, very valid points made by you. But Mr. Malay, if I can come to you, you have spoken about the infrastructure, the funds, and you're giving us the state's view. But again, monitoring is also very, very important. How you are making sure that everything is in place. For that, monitoring at the ground level is very, very important. How you are making sure that everything is put in place, and that too properly.
Yeah, in fact, again, before coming to that, because I have worked a lot in the urban sector.
Yeah.
If you allow me, I could make a few points. Yeah. So the urban areas, in fact, few innovative things, because as Mr. Ahuja mentioned, not only the requirement of water in urban areas is double, even the cost is more. And another important thing is that most of the water for urban areas is again coming from the rural areas. So there has to be dovetailing between rural and urban, and I feel that in times to come there are going to be competing requirements, that whether one should first feed the rural areas or the urban area. So coming to urban areas, I think one of the methods which has been used quite effectively in many cities internationally also is a dual plumbing. That means you have one plumbing line only for drinking water, another for the rest of it. Second, another major thing in the urban area is the contamination of the water which takes place if it is the sewer is not properly treated. And there are many cities in the world which have been using quite effectively the water which has been treated, the treated water from the sewer treatment plants. So that could also perhaps reduce the requirement of water in the urban area. Another thing, that in the urban areas, you see, though the water cost is more, but the payments which are being made, that is the willingness to pay is not very high. So maybe one could think about the metering as well as the prepaid cards for water supply. And a good thing or a good news is that as in the rural area, the Jal Jeevan Mission was started in 2019. This year, in this year's the budget speech, the Jal Jeevan Mission has been started for the urban areas also.
Right.
So it will take care of both the water supply as well as the sewer treatment. Now you talked about a very important point, the monitoring. So monitoring, in fact, we are monitoring, we are using the Gram Panchayats, the district collectors, and the most important is that it is also using NGOs. In fact, there is one concept called implementation support agency. Another concept is the third party inspection. So these bodies have nothing to do with the agencies which are creating the infrastructure. So we have an independent third party infrastructure.
Monitoring is being done. Sorry sir, we are running short of time. We'll have to wind it up here. Just a small reaction from Ms. Ranjita. Ms. Ranjita, we can also save water at home. If you can explain that, and also just a closing remark, the importance of saving water, and why is it very important, if you can say this for the benefit of our viewers.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of the question. Can you
I said we can also save water at home. How do you want to explain it? And for our viewers also, that why water has to be saved at home and how it can be saved at home.
I would like to take clue from where Mr. Ojha left regarding changing the simple appliances at our home, the taps, the kind of taps we use. Also to have a simple rainwater harvesting structures at our home which can supplement, which is not a very costly affair. Only thing is we should have that bent of mind to do it. You also talked about the behavioral change. The IEC campaign part which we are running is definitely concentrating on all these aspects. So simple rainwater harvesting structures can always help as additional source of water so that the pressure on resources can be reduced. And also looking at the changing small appliances, and above all educating our younger generation, our kids about the importance of water and how to conserve it and what is the requirement of conserving it. I do great work by shifting our mindset and changing our behavior.
Absolutely, behavioral change is very important, and India's self-sufficiency is dependent on its water resources and water connectivity, and its fast-paced development is not possible without effective water conservation. Thank you so much all of you for talking to us, talking to DD India, Ms. Ranjita, Mr. Malay Srivastava and Mr. Ojha. Thank you so much for speaking to DD India.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So there is 71% water on our earth, but only 3% is drinkable. So safe water is important for human health and well-being, economic production and sustainable development. It is a matter of concern that human beings through their commercial activities have endangered the water found on the earth. So one needs to be very careful in this fight to save water. So do your bit to save water and earth. Next time you brush your teeth or shave, do not let the tap run. but use water judiciously to save it. Also plant more trees to help maintain the balance. If the water is exhausted from the earth, then no living organism will be able to survive, because all animals use water. That's not something you and I can afford for the future generations. That's all we have in Focus. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.